Today I'll be doing a review on Iron Armor truck bed coating from Harbor Freight Tools. I'm going to show you the prep that I did and also the installation on my 1999 Mazda B2500. My truck is a standard Mazda B2500 SX. It's got typical bed as far as light surface rust, some scratches, a few little dings here and there, but typical for a close to 15-year-old pickup truck that's been used. Like I said, scratches and some surface rust and things like that in the bed. So what I'm hoping to do, I have in this picture here sanded a little bit, but I'm hoping to get some of the surface rust off before I put the bed liner in. I'll be using my belt sander, some filler primer, some liquid deglosser, my mouse sander, of course the truck bed coating, and a paint roller with extra foam rollers. Here I'm using my old Tank of a Craftsman belt sander. I also am using my mouse sander to get in the edges and the grooves to make sure that I get as much off of the bed as I can. What I kept hearing, no matter the bed liner, is the prep is the most important part. Finish the sanding and hopefully the prep. I've tried to get most of the surface rust off of the bed. It's come out pretty good. I've vacuumed out most of the dust as I went. It was kind of windy today, and so it was blowing around into my face and stuff here and there, so I'd vacuum it up periodically. But what I'm going to do next is sweep out what's left and then take a rag and use my chemical that I got to make sure that we degrease and degloss everything in the bed. So before we prime everything in the bed, I'm going to use this liquid deglosser. It says preps without sanding, although I've already sanded. It was about $7 at my local Lowe's, and I'm going to use this all throughout the bed. It says it's also improved paint adhesion, so I'm going to use this throughout. That way if I've missed any spots by sanding, I'll be able to at least prep it enough to get the coating on there. Okay, so I've used the liquid deglosser to get rid of any grease or wax that may have been in the cracks or crevices. I also did the top edge up here of the bed because I'm going to tape it off and do the top edge. But I did the deglosser all under the edges around the bed, also on the tailgate, which I had sanded and primered before, but I went ahead and sanded it down just a little bit and put some deglosser on it also. So the next step is I'm going to hit some of the spots with this self-filling primer, and hopefully we'll have it prepared for the bed coating. Okay, so I used the can of Rust-Oleum primer. It's called a filler primer, and pretty good coverage out of one can. It was a little bit bigger than usual. It's free 25% more, so it worked out pretty well. But I went ahead and hit all the spots that had bare metal where I'd sanded first, and then any spots that looked like they could use a little hit of primer I hit. So you know, I didn't plan on covering every square inch, but it did cover it pretty well. Once again, I just tried to hit the spots that were bare metal that I had sanded down to get rust spots off and things like that. So hopefully I'll let this dry for a little bit and come back and check it, and hopefully I can roll this bed liner on today. Okay, it's been about 30 to 45 minutes since I did the primer. It's dry now. Feels rough to the touch, as primer should. So what I'm going to do next is I've I've just cut this 2-liter bottom out, and I'm going to pour some of the truck bed coating in there and use my brushes over here. I'm going to test out the foam ones. I don't know how well they'll work, but I've got some regular brushes in there too. So what I'm going to do is start kind of cutting in around the edges and stuff where the roller won't go, and that's a suggestion to do, and work from the front of the truck bed to the back. So I'm going to work around those corners and stuff up front, and kind of just hopefully this goes well. This is kind of the first part of getting the bed coating into the bed. So I've cut in the edges with a brush around the ridges and stuff, and then next what I'm going to do is take the roller and start rolling, and hopefully this I did a good prep job and this ends up looking good. Starting to roll it in with a roller. Instead of getting up in the bed of the truck, I've got me a handle on my brush, and so I can go across, and I'm going to be putting another coat on, so I'm trying to get good coverage but not too much right now, and then that way I can come back later and put another coat on in about 2 hours. Okay, it's getting dark outside. I just finished putting the first coat on. I have some places here and there that are you know, light compared to others. It's looking pretty good. It has a little bit of a texture. I'd like to see more texture, but maybe once I get the second coat on. I see places where I've done a little bit thicker, and right now, I mean, it looks pretty good. Of course, there's roll marks and stuff. It's not dry, so I'm not sure if I'll get to rolling the other coat tonight. I may wait till tomorrow to do the other coat, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Few things that I'll do differently next time. One is I would buy higher quality rollers. The first roller I got was pretty good. The secondary rollers that I bought to replace here and there were really cheap, and they just completely fell apart. So make sure that you've got a few, at least 3 or 4 really good foam rollers to use. You can always take them back if you end up not needing them, but it's always better to have extra stuff. So I'm going to actually have to go and run to my local store and pick up another roller or two for tomorrow, so or whenever I do the next coat. It's the next day. It's sunny, so I can now see we've got some brush marks and stuff, and there's some places that have built up, some areas that I couldn't see last night that have dried. So hopefully when I put another coat on, you can see there's some places that I've missed, some light spots and stuff like that hopefully with the second coat we'll be able to get covered. I've also got to do the tailgate where I've got primer on there, but just go over it again. Hopefully it'll turn out looking better. I've got to get in there and get in some of the crevices also.
As you can see, there's still some unevenness after the second coat of the bed liner. It does cover very well, but it does look uneven. You can see in some places here that there's heavy spots and lighter spots, even though there's full coverage. So what I did is I went out and purchased a couple of cans of the spray truck bed coating, the same brand, Iron Armor, from Harbor Freight. And this is what it looked like after I finished just with one coat on top of that. It really gave it a much more even coating throughout the bed, and evened out the finish. There are a few places that when I was rolling the bed liner on, you can see here with the arrows, those are places where my foam rollers came apart and got into the bed liner. There's several places like that. I tried to scratch some of it off. Also, there's some places where it built up, like anytime you roll paint, similar to that. But you'll see here also where those rollers had broken up on me. Overall, I would have to say that the Iron Armor truck bed coating, both the roll-on and the spray-on from Harbor Freight, is a very good product, especially for the price. It's typically $59.99, and I got it on sale for $44.99, and then also had a 25% off coupon for the can, so a pretty good deal. Makes the truck bed look much better than it originally did, so I'd say go out and pick some up.